What would you see as the biggest change that you've seen in the power range?
When I got involved and when I've been working over it in the last sort of fair few years, it was the Unix wars time. So that at points things we were competing with the Solarises and the HPUXs of this world. It was about speeds and feeds. It was about the ability to be able to do things faster than anybody else could at that point in that kind of world. But it was competing with a wholly different set of competition, which we won. We won that kind of war after all. There's no doubt the Unix market is now dominated by AIX. However, now it's about looking at cloud. AI was something which just a friend of mine in university did as a really complicated project at the end of his university career. It wasn't something we were able to do particularly easily in the real world. It's about the sort of stories that we can actually do with industry, the sorts of things we can deliver for our customers, the kind of results that we're actually looking at instead of actually just the numbers and the gigabits and gigabytes, because the results we can deliver are really impressive these days.
Okay, well that's fantastic news. And in terms of where do you see the future of power? Where is this going next?
Well, we're going to be continuing to move forward, and you talked a little bit about the sort of investment in processors earlier. We continue to do that. We know how we're going to do Power 10. We know that's going to come out in the future. It's going to use some very interesting technology. It's going to need a new process of being able to create the processors using extreme ultraviolet lithography, which has got all sorts of fun things with infrared lasers and bouncing plasma around. But partnership is actually what it's all about. We're partnering again with Samsung to create those processes going into the future. We'll continue our partnerships with NVLink and NVIDIA to be able to come up with what we need to do there, and we'll see more of that kind of system moving forward.
If a client were to approach us, we've got a new application that we're looking to run, they would come to us and we would do what for them?
I'm glad you asked that, Rob. To be fair, we get clients all the time that are developing new apps, especially some of the startups. They're looking at their general outline design, and they don't know what the best platform is to run that on. And TES are quite happy to work with clients that have got to that stage and to help them consider all of the different aspects of the application and where that's best going to fit. Because there isn't one size fits all answer to these things. And I'm, as a dyed-in-the-wool mainframer, I'm happy to acknowledge that. It could be that actually parts of the application need to sit on Power or on x86. Obviously, certainly with storage, it's a constantly evolving picture. IBM typically bringing out new products, every two to 3 years on the different platforms. So we talk about those. I stay on top of the IBM announcements really so that our customers don't have to. So if they've got a question about where do we think the right place to host this, or where should I put the new workload that I've got coming along, then I've got the answer to that ready for them.
How closely aligned do you see the technologies? How closely do you see them becoming more closely knit?
I think the more closely is absolutely right, that the individual roles of actually called CTO after all are fairly new, and we're actually defining this a little bit as we go along, and have been doing it in slightly different ways. But we are coming together. There are sort of meetings that we're having, meetings of ideas coming together with what we're actually talking about to bring things together in an interesting way. AI is one catalyst that's driving some of that, because on the storage side, they can be able to own the life cycle of the data in a way that is very complementary and works very nicely with the different server brands that can actually work with the data as it stands. So the processing of it can be done very, very well with the different types of servers. Power, as I've talked about, can be excellent for building the models, but it's maybe not the absolute ideal when it comes to security afterwards. So you have to be able to secure the model, secure the data, and we can be very complementary with the mainframe architecture there. So yeah, we're coming together in ways that I think maybe we've acted a little independently in previous years, and now we can collaborate instead.
Why does infrastructure matter when it comes to AI?
Okay, yes, I mean, it is a massive topic, as you say. AI is a very big and growing area. It is something, of course, that's very, very hyped in the industry. It's our opinion that actually marrying that up with the infrastructure that does matter is something that actually gives much better results than simply just doing it as AI on its own. That if you have the quality infrastructure that you can actually build this upon, getting up to the enterprise grade kind of infrastructure, then you can get your results faster, but also you can can know that you are going to be able to get your answers consistently as well. And in my opinion, it's also not just about the hardware infrastructure that we can deliver. We can also bring in some of the software pieces that are enabling the shift from the AI having to be done by data scientists to actually being able to be focused upon by people who understand that data. They can be the subject matter experts in that particular data.
But we're very much in the early days of AI in terms of clients understanding where it's relevant or otherwise in their business. So we can understand why that might be something that's viewed as something you might do in the cloud in the first instance, but as it starts to form part of a client's strategy, you might want to reconsider your view about infrastructure, whether it's on-premise or how you build that hybrid solution.
Yes, absolutely fair. And we talked earlier about being able to work in the storage elements, because like you say, when I'm at the kind of proof of concept level, it's not uncommon to roll out an individual server with maybe some internal disks, and that's great for the proof of concept kind of stage. But then when you're moving up to the actual scale that would be delivered at the enterprise, and many of our customers around the country and around the world are already moving beyond that individual single box piece, I need to consider the overall infrastructure I'm working with. I need to consider the storage, be that the hardware on the storage side, the software on the storage side, to move the data around, be able to maybe work at the kind of cluster level, because again, we're already seeing 10 plus boxes being clustered together in the UK already. Birmingham University is one example doing that, and that's not really the sort of thing that can work with just an individual box there as a standalone. I need to work at the infrastructure, and again, working with the individual server components, using the mainframe maybe to do the blockchain kind of elements, the servers to do the modeling that I can do so well with AC922s, and then the storage piece, and also the software on the storage side to be able to do things like Spectrum Discover, where I can look at the data I've already got, use Spectrum Discover to be able to identify these are pieces in my data that I already have that I might want then pass into a model, and be able to use Spectrum Scale to be able to move that around. So the combination can be very, very powerful.
That's great. Thank you for clarifying that.
My pleasure.
In terms of how you might deliver that, that's where the value of the partner comes in. If you still want to consume something in a cloud-like way, that's something that we can construct financially using your technology and our partner network.
Yes,
Great.
absolutely. Yes, that's absolutely true.
All right, thanks for clarifying, David.
My pleasure.